to calculate, I would like to share my journey, my experience with martial art, the internal art, Tai Chi, Chi Kung, with the rest experience. How it had helped me through the last year, the challenge last year, as well up until now. To both improve my physically and mentally well-being. They agree to do that. So and I talked to my teacher, Master Joe here, and so he also very graciously agreed to lead us to this session. So Master Joe, would you? I'm gonna hand over to my teacher. Master Joe has been my teacher for the last 11 years. He's gonna take it over and give us a quick, a short background, the school of his background, and the school background, and then go from there. Thank you, Master Joe.
Thanks, Hal. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Hey, it's good to meet all of you here, and I know that Hal is also recording it, so great to meet you on the recorded version of this. Today, Hal sent out you see you have people just joining still there, Hal, so that's good.
Yeah.
Today, I know we sent a description out to everybody, but just to reiterate, we're going to do some Qigong, which is breathing, Chinese breathing exercises that are meant to maximize health, kind of feeling of energy and balance, and combined with Tai Chi, which is kind of a form of Qigong, but it's a moving meditation and comes from the martial art world, actually, about 600 or 700-year-old exercise. So Qigong, Tai Chi, and then we're going to finish that up with something, a more modern version of these things called open focus, which is an attention training, how we pay attention. That was picked up from neurofeedback studies starting in the 1960s. It's a very powerful technique, and I think you guys are going to be just kind of floored mentally as you practice it with us. You're going to spend the rest of the day feel like you might be walking on air. So just preparing you for that. And if you are listening to a recording of this, do not do open focus while you're driving your vehicle, okay? So, or Tai Chi or Qigong for that matter too. All right, so let's begin. We're gonna talk about Qigong. So this type of Qigong, and oh, by the way, can everybody activate their camera if you're in a place where you can? It helps, I can see you doing it, and it helps to, thanks Laura, and if you can, maybe you're still in your pajamas, I'm not sure, but
don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy. Just because we're wearing a uniform doesn't mean you have to. So Laura, we're gonna focus on you. Oh, here we go. Here's some more. That's good. We won't focus as much on you now, Laura, because we have more faces. All right. So this breathing we're gonna do is called white crane, and very often in Chinese medicine they'll refer to cranes because a crane is a symbol of longevity in kind of Chinese legend. And so you'll see a picture of like someone flying, sitting on a crane. Usually, it's meant to impart immortality to the person. So this white crane Qigong is a certain kind of Qigong, certain kind of breathing, and we use what's called reverse breathing. So when we breathe in, we draw the stomach in. When we breathe out, we let the stomach go forward. That's opposite of how we normally breathe. And by the way, if you're not familiar with Zoom, I'm sure you are by this time, but you may want to pin my video. If you haven't pinned it, it'll make me the largest on the screen. I think how you can actually spotlight, there we go.
Yep.
All right. Oh, it's terrible. I don't want to see it that close. That's okay. So this breathing, we're going to breathe in here, suck the stomach in, breathe out, release it. Let's practice 2 breaths. Ready? Breathe in. And then breathe out and release the stomach forward, out. Again. And out. Good. So that's reverse breathing. And as we do that, we want to draw our attention, energy, up to the base of the neck. There's a point right at the base of the neck. It's the biggest vertebrae on your neck. Very special energy point. We're going to draw the energy up the spine to there on the inhale, and then we're going to let it flow out to our hands like we're exhaling through our hands on this specific point. If you make a little light fist with your hands, right where your middle finger touches, that's the point. That's called Lao Gung, that point. So we breathe out to that point. We breathe in and draw the stomach in and breathe, pull it up to the neck and breathe out to the hands. And we're going to do some movements from what's called harmonizing the chi, or the energy, in 6 directions. So first one, raise the hands up and then breathe in. And then breathe out. Breathe in and draw it up the spine. And breathe out. Good. Now that's what we're going to do. We're going to do about 5 of those exercises, but I want to just take a moment to talk about the role of our thoughts in this kind of practice. The saying about chi is that the chi follows your mind. Wherever your attention or your mind is, the chi, the energy, follows it to there. So that means that if you're waiting for a feeling to arrive before you kind of concentrate there, it's not going to happen. You have to expect the feeling of it right there. So you're with your mind, you go to that point and feel for it. And then you feel that energy or warmth and aliveness arrive. Same thing as you exhale, you just expect it here. And that's what causes it to arrive there. So ready, breathe in and expect it at the base of the neck. Release it as you breathe out to the palms. Again. Out to the side. Release it to the palms. Breathe in. And let it go. Next, we bring the hands down in front. And now we raise the hands up as we inhale, almost guiding it up the spine. And then as we exhale, we're going to raise up on the balls of our feet like that and breathe and push behind us. Ready? And breathe in. And then push it behind. In. Breathe out, push it behind. Next, we raise up on the balls of the feet because we wouldn't have just been there, see? And we breathe in and curl the hands like this. As we do that, we gather up negative thoughts, fears, worries. Maybe today I've been worrying about doing this seminar for y'all, right? So I've been hanging on to that. I want to gather that up. And as I breathe out, I want to sink my heels down and breathe out quickly and just let that exit the body. And notice my thumbs covered on this one. So gather up and breathe in and get those negative thoughts, those worries, and release it all as your heels hit the ground. And let's do it again. Breathe in. And now we want to replace that, called double back of the chi. We breathe in all the way above us, gather it in between the hands, and breathe out. Push it down the top of the head. Imagine pushing it all the way down in the body as you exhale. Breathe in again. Expect it. Feel it. And let's repeat that whole segment, the sequence. That's the first postures of this harmonized 6 directions. So breathe in, up the spine. Release it into the space in front of you. As you exhale, feel it right there at the palms, interface with that space. Breathe in to the sides, up the spine, and from the neck, push it out. Exhale to the back. And Gather up the negative energy, thoughts, toxins. Release it all. Over the head. Breathe in. Imagine it between your palms. Breathe out. Push it down the top of the head, all the way down the body. In the finishing posture for these sets of techniques, we raise the hands up and breathe in. Gather it in front of you. Imagine pushing a huge ball of energy right in below the navel. All right, that is a type of Qigong. And in the White Crane system of Qigong, there are just sets and sets of these. Each one has a very specific part of the body that is training for that energy. And it's both body strengthening and energy strengthening. So I want to move on into Tai Chi now that we're feeling pretty good from the breathing. Tai Chi is a system, again, and it comes from martial arts, but we're going to use it in modern times. We mostly use this as a tool to get into a mindful state, awareness of the moment that we're in, and the feeling of our body, the feeling of space around us, our posture, everything that's happening in that moment. And all those things are what's happening. In fact, most of the time, the precise moment that we're in at this exact moment is perfect. There's nothing negative, there's nothing bad happening in this moment. Everything bad that can come in our mind, stress, regrets, fears, are all about other moments, about the past or about the future. So when we do Tai Chi and we spend time doing nothing but this movement, thinking nothing but experiencing the movement, it's like taking a bath in the moment. We're communing with the moment, and there's nothing stressful in the moment. And so you come out of it feeling refreshed, like a vacation for your mind. So we use that movement of the body to focus on that, as opposed to like sitting and meditating. It's very difficult. People find it difficult to do because you're focused on nothing. Your mind wanders and races. People 5 minutes later, they get up and run for the door. It's a hard thing to do. So Tai Chi is a cheat in some ways because we focus on movement and we still get all the same benefits as meditation. So I want to start with the first posture of Tai Chi, called rising posture, simplest one of all. Just raise the hands up and lower them back down. Now, it can't be that simple, right? It kind of is, but we're going to have some little few rules about posture. So pull up on the head from above, like someone's lifting you up from above. Let the shoulders relax, though. Let the knees bend just slightly. And now rising posture again. Good. Now this time I want you to feel heavy. Already, just let your hands feel there. Like it takes all of your conscious effort. Like when you're in a dream, sometimes you can't move, you're trying so hard. You're trying hard to lift your hands with all your conscious effort. Rising posture. You feel heavy. Now, as your hands are hanging there by your side, can you feel them there? I know you can't see them. Can you feel the presence of them? Maybe like a heavy feeling, tingling. Laura, you see you can feel them. That's good. I want you to focus on that feeling. And as we do rising posture, I want you to feel the presence of your hands. Pay attention to the feeling of your hands as you move. Can you imagine moving and feeling your hands at the same time? even seeing your hands and feeling them. Great. Feel like probably even warmer now, right? More tingling. Maybe even your feet may even feel hot. So as we do that and move into that moment and feel our hands, it's going to increase. And the slower we move, the better it feels. And the better it feels, the slower we'll move. So a lot of people say, well, are we supposed to do Tai Chi slow? I always say no. If you do it right, Tai Chi does you slow. If you're feeling it, you won't want to go fast. You want to experience every millimeter of that movement. So now I want to do a posture from the form. Rising posture is one of the postures. This one is just pushing. So I'm going to do it, look so you can see it from the side. I'm going to push like this. We'll face each other. So we're going to sink backwards and then push the hands to the front. Breathe in and then breathe out. I'm going to do it turn to the side so you can see it, but keep facing me. Breathe in, out. Notice how the hands are kind of making a circle. They're coming up and over, dropping, and then pushing upward like that. Notice how my body, entire body is moving together. It's not just my arms, but my hips, my shoulders, my elbows, my knees, all in unison. When one stops, they all stop. At the end of this next push, make everything stop at the same time. Start everything at the same time. Like you pushed up against a mountain, nothing can move. Switch legs whenever you'd like. Just turn around because the back leg's going to get tired on you. All right. Good. Now let's start feet together and then breathe in, raise the hands up. Step forward, breathe out. Step again with the left foot. Good. And so this is the way we move forward in Tai Chi, very slowly. So we kind of gather our weight onto one foot and then step to the other one like that. So the principles of Tai Chi, the slow movement, is so that we can detect our posture, any tension, we can release it. We can find out if indeed just my arm's moving or my whole body is moving. And so it's the way it's practiced is slow and mindful. So I want to do just two more things with this one, then we're going to shift into the open focus, which takes us 20 minutes to do. And again, I've kind of made you a promise. I'm going to make you feel like you're walking on air the rest of the day. And so we're going to make sure we have enough time for that. All right. So this one, we're going to do rising posture. Ready? Rising posture. And at the end of rising posture, you just stay there, but I'm going to turn around. So it's like you're in class behind me. Now turn, look to your left. And put the right hand on top of a large ball here. Step and push with your left arm forward. This is called part the horse's mane, this posture. And now step with your right foot and push with your right hand forward. And the third time, Push with your left arm and the left foot's in front. And I've removed a few of the transitions in there just to make it simpler for you. And really, we just want to give you a taste of Tai Chi. This is what we do in a Tai Chi class. We do Qigong, and we do the postures of a Tai Chi. We do it slow. We do it multiple times. And people might watch this from the side and think, that looks boring. But it's anything but, because you can see it again. The more they get into it, the slower they go. You think, why aren't they more bored by that? No, they're more amazed the whole time. So how I know you're in that room in there, do you have a chair you can sit on? You do, okay. Or you can come out here, you can sit right here, over here if you'd like, either way. All right, so the last thing I want to do is discuss for a moment. You guys have a chair you can sit on? You're gonna need a chair. Is to discuss this concept called open focus. And this is a technique that was created by a psychologist in the late 1960s. And he uses it in his practice in Princeton, New Jersey. He has a couple books written about it, but he has never really promoted it or marketed it, or he just helps his clients with it. And I've known him for 15 or 20 years and became certified in it. And I did it because I saw the synergy with Tai Chi. And since then, I've been using it both for Tai Chi, but also I teach this an open focus class once a month. And so if that's something that you enjoy today, you can find the open focus books on Amazon. Those are his books. And you go to openfocus.com. You can download MP3s of him taking you through this exercise. You can go to workshopaustin.com, which is my website, where we're getting ready to restart our open focus class, monthly class. He charges a lot of money for an open focus session. I mean, a couple $100 because it's on insurance. It's covered by, different kinds of therapy. But our open focus class, mostly I just do it to help everybody. Over the last year, we did it to help everybody through the pandemic, just to de-stress and depressurize the nervous system. So what does this mean, open focus? Well, we have different styles of attention. We may not even realize that, the way that we pay attention to something. So for instance, if I'm looking at my phone, staring at it, someone taps me on the shoulder or startles me, I'm very intense on this one thing. I've cut out all the other things around me, all my other senses, because I'm so narrow focused on this one thing. So that is a narrow focused state. And when you're narrow focused, you can also be narrow focused on thoughts. In fact, you know what a common behavior is while we're narrow focused on thoughts is all kinds of habits. People who bite their fingernails or whatever. It's something that we do while we're ruminating on things. I'm sure you all can recognize, even in yourself, some of these habits. So that you can be narrow focused on thought or reading something or listening to something. And what does that do to our body when we're in that state? It is an important state. We get a lot of work done in that state, but it takes its toll on us because our body becomes rigid. Our organ systems become kind of rigid. They go into sympathetic nervous system mode, fight or flight mode. Our body thinks we're in danger in some way. And this is why we're so narrow focused. If you think about animals in the animal kingdom, when they have that poised kind of very focused attention, they are preparing for fight or flight. Let's look at the opposite. When we have a broad, open attention, we're hearing everything. Let's say you just had a massage. That usually does it for people. And you're walking outside of the place where you got the massage, and you touch the railing, and you feel the railing, maybe more than you get in your car and the feeling of the steering wheel. You're wide open to a whole range of experiences. You are in a wide open attention state. And that open focus attention stimulates the other part of your nervous system, the parasympathetic, which is called the rest and digest system. Instead of fight and flight, rest and digest. Why? Because we do not digest when we're in a fight or flight mode. So therefore, if we spend all of our moments, all of our days in a narrow, rigid, focused attention state, we have digestive problems. We have chronic digestive issues that then begin to move into other systems. Liver, maybe we've got like tension in our jaws, all kinds of bad stuff that starts to happen because we spend years in that state. And we don't know how to turn it off. So we lay awake at night, we can't go to sleep. So what do? We stare at our phones some more, and it puts us into an even more bigger fight or flight state. So learning how to turn it all off is much more difficult than someone just telling you, hey, relax. It doesn't work, right? Telling you to relax, physically trying to relax, it doesn't work. So this open focus is a way, a repeatable way, to coax your mind into an open attention state away from the narrow one. And if you do that on a daily basis, what happens is, bit by bit, it depressurizes your nervous system, balances it, and problems you've been having for years slowly but surely just dissipate because you took your foot off the gas pedal for a little time every day, and instead of getting faster and faster all the time. So the way to do this is going to sound strange. I will be giving you instructions about every 15 seconds. Your eyes will be closed. You're going to be relaxed on your chair. And the instructions are going to sound odd. They're going to be, say, can you feel this space? Can you feel that space? Like we did in Tai Chi. Can you feel the volume of your hands? By doing that, we're kind of stretching and extending your awareness to all these different spaces. And you might try to strain and do it. Let me imagine if I say, can you feel your pinky toe on your right foot? You might go, oh, I'm trying to feel it, but I don't know if I can feel it. That's not what we want. So to accomplish this, actually you have to do nothing. You just have to listen to me. Imagine you could feel your pinky toe, what it would feel like. Oh, okay, yeah, I can imagine it. That's all we have to do to make your attention expand. Imagine another one. Let's say if I said, can you imagine feeling the space in the room all around you? Now you don't have nerves out there, right? So you can't feel it. Imagine you could feel that space. Can you imagine what it would feel like to feel all that space? When you do that, when you use that imagination, you have effortlessly extended your awareness. And that's all we want to accomplish. So make sure you're in a comfortable position. And if you're watching the recording of this, again, please don't do this in any kind of situation where you need to have sharp mental responses, or because this will make you feel very relaxed. If you go to sleep, no worries, just gently wake back up. You'll know you've gone to sleep if you're thinking, gosh, he hasn't said anything in a while. It's because you were asleep. And do not strain or try to do these things. Just listen to me. And effortlessly, your mind will go to these spaces and feel these things. So go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to think about that. I want you to imagine that you'll be able to accomplish this open focus state with no more effort than just listening to the words that I'm saying. That your mind will respond fluidly and effortlessly. Your attention will move to engage these different spaces and feelings. Can you imagine feeling the presence or volume of your thumbs on both hands? What would it feel like to feel the presence of your thumbs right where they're at? Can you imagine feeling the volume, the presence of your index fingers, the first fingers on each hand? What would it feel like if you could feel the space between your index finger and thumb? If you were to compress them together, you would change that space. Can you imagine feeling that space as intimately as you feel your thumbs? And can you imagine feeling your middle finger and ring finger at the same time? What would it feel like if you could feel all your fingers and your thumbs on both hands filled with space? What if that feeling of space extended into your palms and wrists? Your lower arms and elbows? Can you imagine what it would feel like if you could feel the volume of your entire arm from your shoulder to the wrists, palms, and fingers all at the same time? What would that feel like? Can you imagine feeling the presence of your toes, your big toe, the other four toes on both feet? You know they're there, sitting in space. Can you imagine feeling them? What would it feel like to feel your feet and ankles filled with feeling, with space? Imagine that feeling of space moving up your legs, inside the calves, through the knees and into the upper legs, to the hips. Just imagine what it would feel like to feel your entire leg all at once, filled with space, surrounded by space on both legs. Can you imagine your legs and arms, hands and feet, all as one feeling, filled with space, sitting right where they're at? Imagine as each breath flows in through your nose or mouth, that it fills the space of your trunk of your body, from your hips to your shoulders, even into the neck and head. Imagine filling that space with air. Imagine this possible without any effort, even if just for a moment you could feel your entire body as one feeling filled with space. Can you imagine now feeling the space outside your body, touching your body right next to it? Can you imagine what it would feel like to pay attention to that space? What would happen if you extended that space, feeling it all the way out, even to the walls in the room that you're in? What would it feel like to feel and be aware of the space of the room? Can you imagine if you moved your arm, you would compress the space on one side and stretch the space on the other side? Can you imagine feeling that space as if it were a part of you? We know from physics that space itself, that matter, that is made up mostly of space. Can you imagine feeling the space of the room and that it effortlessly moves through the walls of the room? And now you feel the space outside the room or outside your home, maybe to a landmark, tree, or car. Can you imagine feeling that huge expanse and sphere of space? Can you imagine in that expanding space that you can pay attention to all the sounds that are happening? If there were birds outside, you could hear them. If there are fans blowing, you can hear it. Can you imagine paying attention to all the sounds in that space at the same time? I mean, is it possible to pay attention to the silence that's in the room, out of which sound comes? Don't listen for the silence, but can you imagine effortlessly engaging the silence of the room? In fact, sound and silence are like yin and yang. Can you imagine paying attention to both sound and silence as one thing? Hearing sound and silence and feeling space out to that tree or the car, all that space around you at the same exact time, feeling and hearing. And at the center of that space, feeling the presence of your body. What would it feel like if you could dissolve, disperse the feeling, the particles of your body across that space? In a few moments, going to slowly come to a stop on this open focus exercise. I'd like you to effortlessly just observe your thoughts, whether they're quiet, your body, whether it's relaxed. Don't try to abruptly shift into a thinking mode, but just feel the presence of your body. Just begin moving slowly again. You might take note if your inner dialogue is quieter. Old tensions in the body might be lessened. Let's take just a couple more minutes, 2 minutes, and then if you feel like you have some questions, we can address some of those. While Hal and I wake back up. Hmm? That's good. You need it. You need it then. See, Hal said he fell asleep too. I said, well, that means you need it then.
Well,
So,
yeah. So Laura, Jennifer, anyone have any question? Hey, Judy, you feel how you feel, Laura?
I feel so relaxed. I have a really hard time meditating, but
Uh-huh.
the guide, like having you guide us through, it was so much easier to like let go and focus.
yeah, that's great.
I had the
Thanks.
same issue. Yeah, same thing. Oh God, yeah. I mean, I could, like Master Joe said earlier, I could not just sit there for 5 minutes and to focus my mind. My mind just wander all around, chit chatting. I could not focus. But when I attended workshop a while back, I was like, oh gosh, yeah, I fell asleep every time. And it's so relaxed. It's so great.
Well, let me address that for you, Laura, so that you can have some perspective on what goes wrong in those moments when you can't. Very often we'll show up to class, it's time to do, or I'm on my own, I want to do Tai Chi. I start doing, oh man, I don't want to do this right now, right? Your mind's racing and you're not actually in the moment. You're processing, crunching numbers about everything else. And so um, this kind of exercise, because it kind of tricks you into it by just having you, just like getting a massage. Someone's touching you, touching you here, touching you there. Bit by bit, they've touched you, on your legs, on your arms, on your back, and you have stretched your attention out and you slow down and you come to a rest. And so it's a nice, tricky way of tricking your mind out of that narrow focused state. So if you're in a narrow focused state, there's no way you can meditate. That's hopeless. Same thing with going to sleep, right? We say we want to go to sleep, but our mind is racing. We keep saying, oh man, I really want to go to sleep. But actually, if you wanted to, you would. Your mind is doing exactly what it wants to do right then. And listening to the sounds, feeling the space around you, it's like you trick yourself. Suddenly you're like, you just conk out because your mind, you shift your attention. So Jennifer, did you have a good experience with it, or?
Yes, I did. I feel so relaxed. And normally I like to meditate and like hearing my breathing and trying to breathe in and breathe out in the same time,
Yes.
trying to extend the time, something like that. So this was a different experience, like
Yes.
feeling the surrounds in a different way. So I found it was interesting.
That's a lot of people will have been practicing meditation for many years, and still this will be a different experience. And it is the good thing about it is it's very repeatable, right? So you have good meditation days, bad meditation days. This one, open focus, kind of like, because it's not about meditation, it's just about doing these exercises. It kind of like helps lead you there. Like you said, Laura, it's a guide. It doesn't kind of leave you on your own devices, right? So, and what it does, it induces actually a certain frequency of alpha brainwave state. And I have an actual $5,000 machine. It's got 5 electrodes, goes on my head, tells me when I'm doing it exactly right. So then I do my open focus training with that on and process those instructions. I even say them aloud to myself. And what happens is if you begin to like effortfully start doing it, it stops responding to you. So it's actually looking for 5 different locations on the head and looking for not just alpha, but synchronous alpha. They're all happening at the exact same time in all 5 locations. So it's a very peculiar alpha training that actually the only people in the world that are the best at this are Tibetan monks.
Wow.
They have synchronous alpha. And when they're when they're meditating, they're in pure synchronous alpha. When they start to do things, they go purely asynchronous alpha. So they're the best. They've got both sides of the coin. When they're task oriented, they're perfectly task oriented. When they shut down and just become one with the universe, they perfectly shut down. So, but we don't have time to go spend 20 years in a Tibetan monastery, so we can do this, right? So the beautiful thing is, check out workshopaustin.com. If it's not something that you can do, force yourself to kind of, every month you're going, oh man, I forgot I was going to do that this month. We all have done that. Then at least you have once a month you come in and I remind you, get you back on track again. And it's $25 a month. We can do a 1 hour long, and I keep explaining it every week because you can keep hearing it too helps. But the other one is you can go get the MP3s from Dr. Les Femi is the one that created it, and at openfocus.com. And so he won't have that. I don't have it. I'm not from Texas. I'm from Indiana originally. But he won't have the Texas or the Hoosier accent. He'll have the New Jersey accent. So you can handle that. But he's in his 80s. He's been teaching this his whole life. And it's really powerful. And I think you guys would really, I know some of my students, they bought the set of CDs from me, a decade ago. We still use CDs, and came back later and said, this, I do this every day. This changed my entire life. It said change the way they are, where they are with their families, change they are with themselves. He said suddenly people, just like they're magnetically drawn to me, because I'm just like such a just free and happier person, right? So, but it does take work, right? It takes every day, but it's just like a pill you take every day and it works for you. So thank you so much, Hal, for inviting me. And I know we're going to reach more people. It is a Friday afternoon. It's a tough one, but everybody can, and look, you've got this right here, right? They've got this recording. Yes. So there you go. You guys can just listen to me do it again and again. And if you ever get tired, you come take it from me. So thanks.
And yeah, Master Joe, and also we still offering the virtual class for Tai Chi, right?
That's right.
So yeah.
That's right, correct. So we do Tai Chi virtually. We teach it either from here, and I've got a couple instructors who teach from home. Hal's one of those instructors. And we do a Tai Chi class. We got 3 a week, and people come in and do Tai Chi. We do the Qigong breathing in there. We don't do the open focus in there because it takes too long. It keeps everybody from learning Tai Chi. But again, check out that workshop, Austin. I got a little, you can put your name on the list. So when the next one happens, I'll let you know. But usually we would do it on a Sunday for an hour. And so again, thanks. And it's, so it's austinkungfu.com and workshopaustin.com. Those are the 2 sites. austinkungfu.com is the Tai Chi class, and the workshop Austin is about the open focus.
Well, thank you, Master Joe. Thank you for your time leading us through this. We appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Look forward to seeing
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye. Bye-bye.
See you.
You're welcome. Bye.